Entertainment TV. Remember, guys, to like, share, comment, and follow, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our new uploads that you do upload here. Today is the 15th of November 2022, and so, guys, a few days ago, Commonwealth team is in Zimbabwe. Yes, they are meeting the President Emmerson Mnangagwa, opposition political parties, civil society organizations, because and can Zimbabwe rejoin the Commonwealth area. And so it's crunch time for the government as a delegation from the Commonwealth landed in Zimbabwe this past weekend to assess the human rights situation more than 3 years after President Emmerson Mnangagwa asked to be readmitted to the body. The visit by the delegation, led by Assistant Secretary General Professor Louis Franceschi, comes as election violence is on the rise ahead of next year's presidential polls. It also comes as two main opposition citizens called for change, CCC MPs Job Sikala and Godfrey Sitole, have been in Chikurubi prison for 5 months alongside 14 party members on allegations of political violence after organizing a wake for slain party member Mo Blessing Ali. Sitole was released on Friday night ahead of the delegation's arrival yesterday. In addition, 34 Apostolic Church members have been held in remand prison for 4 months. They were arrested for marching on Harara's CBD to pray for the country's economic revival. 2 weeks ago, political violence also hit Matabeleland during municipal by-elections. CCC MP Jasmine Tofa and a number of party supporters were injured and hospitalized after being attacked, allegedly by ZANU-PF supporters. In a statement ahead of their arrival, the Secretariat said it would be in until Thursday on a visit that is part of an informal process of assessment. The delegation said it would meet the president, members of the government, and senior officials, as well as members of the opposition political parties, heads of diplomatic missions in Harare, and civil society organizations such as the Zimbabwe Electoral Support Network and the Zimbabwe Women's Lawyers Association, alongside media and business associations. The process of readmission entails several regular steps that all countries wishing to join the Commonwealth must undertake, and includes countries' adherence to the values enshrined in the Commonwealth Charter. It said this includes peace, freedom, and democracy. Zimbabwe was suspended from the 56 Nation Organization in 2002 for breaching the Harare Declaration and withdrew the following year after the body refused to lift the suspension. ZANU-PF Information Director Tafazo Mugwadi said, "We welcome the Commonwealth delegation which is coming to do its assessment." He said the assessment would focus on conditions that had been put in place so Zimbabwe can return to the Commonwealth. We welcome them and hope their stay in Zimbabwe will expose them to the reality of our democracy, the reality of our peaceful existence as a country and as a people, most importantly to the telling efforts that tell the story of the Second Republic under the leadership of President Emmerson Mnangagwa, Mugwadi said. CCC spokesperson Fadzama said her party believes that Zimbabwe should not be readmitted because of continuing human rights violations. For Zimbabwe to rejoin the community of nations, it is very important for us to stop abusing citizens. You know that there are political prisoners who have been in pre-trial detention for more than 140 days. Violations of the constitution, violations of property rights, corruption, the escalation of violence by ZANU-PF against citizens, journalists and members of political opposition and civil society, the shrinking democratic space, and the continued promulgation of repressive unconstitutional legislation that does not bode well for Zimbabwe to be received back into the community of nations. As she said, while the Commonwealth delegation is in the country, a court battle looms between Election Resource Center and the Zimbabwe Electoral Commission, which has been accused of misconduct and manipulation as the country heads towards the presidential election. This after the gazetting in August of hefty nomination fees of aspiring presidential and parliamentary candidates. Presidential candidates have to pay $20,000 to qualify to run for office next year, and would be MPs are required to cough up $1,000. The SEC said a hard copy of the 187 1,000-page national voters roll will cost $1 a page. An electronic copy costs a comparatively cheap $200, but the Elections Authority won't provide one for security reasons. Last week, the ZEC demanded that ERC paid $187,238 for a printed copy of the voters roll. We advise that for the first time, being the voters roll can only be furnished in printed form, as the Commission is working on enhancing the security of the electronic voters roll, and same would be availed on a platform at a date to be advised, the ZEC said in response. On Wednesday, the ERC gave the ZEC an ultimatum to provide it with an electronic copy within 10 days, or it will take it to court. The ERC has engaged Zimbabwe human rights lawyers to fight the case on their behalf. Late last month, the ZEC told opposition MP Rusty Markham it was only able to provide him with that copy of the roll upon payment of the prescribed fee, and that would be sent to him within 30 working days from the date of payment. Markham has also challenged the ZEC to withdraw the exorbitant nomination fees and told the Sunday Times the electoral body was using delayed tactics to avoid a voters' roll audit. It is clear that ZEC are delaying for as long as possible to supply a clean voters' roll that can be audited and accessed. Under no circumstances can anyone believe or trust ZEC with their voters' roll if they are not prepared to have it audited. What ZEC is doing is exactly what they did in 2008, when there was a very strong possibility of the opposition winning the elections. So they are doing exactly the same thing of going back to their default setting of trying to cheat their way out of it. I have no confidence in ZEC at all, Markham said. The Herald quoted ZEC spokesperson Jasper Mngwana saying the high price of a hard copy of the voters' roll was intended to guide against its manipulation and abuse. It is $1 per page, as it will have security features to avoid tampering and duplication. Some people have been abusing the voters' roll by taking critical personal information of voters, including their national identity numbers and addresses, he said. National Constitutional Assembly NCA party leader Professor Lavu Maduku told the Sunday Times the nomination fees were unfair. The exorbitant nomination fees are both undemocratic and unlawful. They will unlawfully interfere with our political party participation in the 2023 elections, said Maduku. I do not think the fees will be allowed. It would mean the ZEC is now governing the country instead of merely conducting free and fair and credible elections. If you raise such monies for being nominated, how much more is required for political campaigns? I think that ZEC on its own ought to revise the fees substantially downwards. And guys, that's the latest here in Zimbabwe's Commonwealth return, and the opposition party Triple C is saying that at the moment Zimbabwe cannot be readmitted into the Commonwealth because of several issues they raised here. Human rights abuses, political prisoners. We have spent almost 180 days, 140 days in jail. Wasata mbotongwa apasina bail, washimwa bail. I saying that, you know what, ngwambo mira wakadaro and the Commonwealth ngaimbotsika chepakati tibotanga tambo solve my problems akunesa in Zimbabwe. Another thing again, nyakunesa nyaya ye voters roll. I think takataura panapa before several times, nyaya yemari kuti $187,000 ndomari kudiwa neZEC, and kuti wakwanisa kukupa a full voters roll. And so zviri kunzwa neZEC vakutamba matricks achiteka kuti mari imari yakawanda, and no smaller parties are going to be able to raise that money. On top of that, President $20,000 for presidential, parliamentary fees anacheka achidiwa, plus also tisingataure nyaya yemacampaign kuti campaign agara inongoda mari pachezva yega, and saka which means kuti it's going to be impossible for many smaller parties to participate pama elections ariko muna 2023. And so guys, we're going to be keeping you guys here in the loop regarding to nyaya Commonwealth Secretariat who are in Zimbabwe. Will be leaving on Thursday, and they're going to meet the President Mnangagwa. They're going to meet my opposition political parties. They're going to meet my civil society organizations, government officials, senior officials, heads of diplomatic missions in Harare, Zimbabwe Electoral Support Network and the Zimbabwe Women's Lawyers Association, alongside the media. Remember, my journalists akawanda akambosungwa recently. We saw some journalists vachirohwa vachinzi hamukwanisi kukavha nyaya panapa mwachidzingwa paitwa ma-elections akasiyana-siyana, and so vanenge vane something to say regarding to what is happening on the ground in Zimbabwe. And so this is daily news, breaking news, everyday news on Prince Miller Entertainment TV. Remember to like, share, comment and follow, and turn on the notification bell so that you won't miss any of our new uploads that you do upload here. Bless up.